The story of a nation between vision and achievements conference kicked off in the new administrative capital under the auspices and presence of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, as well as a large number of representatives of the Egyptian society, with its various sectors, experts and specialists in all fields. The details follow.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi asserted the nation can realize progress only through building and reform and not sabotage, destruction, doubt or injustice. The president was speaking in comments during the inauguration of the Story of a Nation Between Vision and Achievement conference. The president said the state lost $450 billion during the period from 2011 to 2013, noting that they're now listing what has been accomplished to establish reality and develop radical solutions to challenges. The president said the state's revenues are less than its spending, stressing that there is need to increase resources. President Sisi pointed out the fulfillment of the new Suez Canal project and said the venture was carried out at a critical time where rumors were refuted in addition to combating terrorism in the country. He said the real threat against any nation is ignorance and backwardness. He also warned against plots on sabotaging Egypt's recent achievements by promoting and spreading fake news. Recalling the new Suez Canal project and the feelings of hopelessness and lack of confidence that prevailed amongst Egyptians back then, the president noted the project was an attempt to unite people and restore their confidence. He pointed out to the fulfillment of the new Suez Canal project. He disclosed revenues from the Suez Canal are poised to crest $100 million by the culmination of the year, effectively doubling pre-2015 revenues, and they're anticipated to ascend to $12.5 billion by the end of the fiscal year 2024-25. The head of state stressed if the country was not stable, it would not have been impossible to move forward. He also thanked the Minister of Transport, Kamel El-Wazir, for his diligent efforts in this respect, and thanked the Prime Minister for his strenuous efforts, noting the state's achievements had been made despite terrorist threats, stressing the state will never forget the families of the martyrs.
Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli addressed the conference The Story of a Nation Between Vision and Achievements, reviewing the state's achievements during the last 9 years, tackling a number of economic and social files. Here are the details.
Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli presented the development Egypt accomplished in different sectors during the inauguration of the Story of a Nation conference. In his speech, Prime Minister Madbouli started by explaining the successful experience of other countries like Malaysia, Singapore, Germany and China, among other developed countries, saying that their success was not achieved overnight, it took them years. He highlighted that projects investing in infrastructure and having strong leadership were keys to their success. He went on saying that we've made unprecedented achievements that have not witnessed in the country for decades. He also said that successful developed states have invested from 20 to 40% of its local income in infrastructure, adding that Egypt got criticized for spending on projects. However, Egypt spent around 9.4 trillion Egyptian pounds on its developmental project, which is still the minimum limit. According to Madbouli, a total of 34 Egyptian experts worked on their vision and the strategy for urban development. Prime Minister Madbouli presented Egypt's achievements in transport system, tourism and smart cities. The Prime Minister further described the duplication of the Suez Canal as the most important project to transform Egypt into a true global logistics center, where he explained that Egypt has 14 logistics zones, where the economic zone in the Suez Canal was developed and advanced in the past 9 years. Regarding the development witnessed in the educational sector, Madbouli highlighted that a total of 120,000 classrooms were built at a cost of £40 billion, adding that Egypt had 50 universities in 2014, while today the state has 96 universities. Regarding the health sector, Madbouli said that treatment at state expenses cost £87 billion over the past 9 years. He further signaled initiatives launched by President Sisi to enhance the sector and enable the state to achieve a real breakthrough in this field.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi also witnessed the first economic session of the Story of a Nation conference. During the session, Minister of Planning Haile Said reviewed the state's efforts in achieving development, stating the Egyptian 2030 vision is the biggest project worldwide. In her speech during the Story of a Nation conference, Dr. Hala Saeed said that the world countries in 2015 agreed on a sustainable development agenda that included 17 goals world countries should achieve in 2020. She noted that among the 17 important goals were combating poverty and hunger, building sustainable cities, using clean energy, and creating job opportunities. The planning minister said that Egypt has drawn up comprehensive plans to achieve sustainable development goals on scientific basis, pointing to the remarkable progress achieved in economic, social, protection, health, and educational aspects. In another session, the President listened to speeches by the Ministers of International Cooperation and Industry, as both tackled a number of files and achievements realized in various domains. Here are the details.
In another session also attended by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, Minister of International Cooperation Dr. Rania al-Mashat said the year 2014 witnessed a transformation in Egypt's relation with international finance institutions to implement the national vision via multilateral international partnerships and bilateral partnerships and in boosting economic diplomacy. Al-Mashat also noted that the Ministry of International Cooperation is the link between the beneficiaries inside the state, including different ministries, private sector companies, or civil society entities, and also among partners, whether bilateral or multilateral ones. She highlighted that in the frame of international cooperation and development finance, there are three main goals. First, magnifying the economic, social, and environmental benefits of development finance, guaranteeing that the development projects are coinciding with the national priorities, and finally, to improve the project's implementation on the ground. Al-Mashat also asserted that the state implemented a number of food security projects with international partners. She also mentioned in her speech Forsa, or Opportunity Program, which was carried out in cooperation with the World Bank and enhanced partnership between the government and the private sector and provided thousands of job opportunities to the most needy brackets. The minister also stressed that the Egyptian citizen is the core of concern in all projects and that each project is documented in details, and these huge projects, in addition to their national importance, propagate for Egypt on international platforms as an investment hub. For his part, Minister of Industry Mohammed Samir made a comparison between the industrial field in Egypt in 2014 and the achievements realized in the sector till the moment and in numbers. Samir focused on the presidential directives issued to facilitate all procedures before new investors and entrepreneurs, including the establishment of 17 industrial complexes in 15 governorates and 46 industrial units, affording 48,000 job opportunities. The minister also tackled the efforts exerted by the state to prepare a list of 100 incentives to promote the industrial sector and to attract direct investments in light of the complicated crises that are facing global economy. Meanwhile, President al-Sisi hailed the role played by the Ministry of International Cooperation in coordinating efforts with international financing institutions. The head of the state also stressed that modernizing the country's infrastructure was a must to launch the industrial development process, confirming that without electricity and gas, the national mega projects would have never been accomplished. The president also vowed to present more incentives to boost local industry and called on Egyptian and foreign investors to join the state's national projects.
Also on Saturday, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi witnessed the third session of the Story of a Nation conference on energy, during which the Minister of Electricity and Renewable Energy, Dr. Mohammed Sheikher, and the Minister of Petroleum and the Mineral Resources participated and reviewed the achievements that were made in the two sectors. The details.
The third session of the Story of a Nation conference witnessed the showing of a documentary film about the energy sector and the great efforts exerted that made a qualitative leap in this sector during the past years. Minister of Electricity and Renewable Energy, Dr. Mohammed Sheikher, and Engineer Tariq Al-Mulla, Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources, addressed the third session. During these sessions, large national projects and infrastructure development efforts were discussed. President Sisi stressed that they will continue to work to develop the country. During his speech in the energy session within the activities of the conference. Minister Tariq Al-Mulla revealed that the sector's investments since 2014 amounted to £1.2 trillion. He added that the challenge before 2014 were the reluctance of international oil companies to pump new investments, and therefore there was no increase in production, but rather there was a decrease, and the aging of the infrastructure of the refining and manufacturing refineries and the infrastructure for transportation and distribution networks, gas stations, and all warehouses outdated. Al-Mullah explained that the state has developed a strategy to develop and modernize the petroleum and gas sector by setting a vision and plan for all value access in the sector that contain all the elements of the sustainability that has yielded unprecedented important achievements over the past years. Al-Mullah continued that there are ongoing projects amounting to about £340 billion, while research, development and production amounted to about $34 billion. Transportation networks for crude oil products and gas amounted to $1.6 billion, and three ports amounted to about $1.1 billion worth £15.2 billion. On his part, Minister of Electricity, Dr. Mohammed Shaker, presented the ministry's statistics during the period from 2014 to 2023 and the future vision of the ministry's plan during the coming period. Dr. Shaker said that there has been a significant development in the production of electrical energy since 2014 and reviewed the ministry's achievement as well as plans and future vision during the coming period. Minister Shaker said that in 2014 our deficit in electrical energy capacity reached 6,000 megawatts and many measures were taken to overcome the crisis, adding that most important of which is 4,250 gigawatts to complete the stations and raise the efficiency of the stations by adding 1,840 megawatts, in addition to contracting to implement 3 joint generating stations at a speed of 14,400 megawatts. Shaker explained that President Sisi played a major role in negotiation process with Siemens and they obtained prices that they could not obtain before.
Commenting on the speech of both Ministers of Electricity and Petroleum, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi stressed that there are countries which have hundreds of fadans to cultivate, but they cannot due to their poor infrastructure. Here are the President's comments.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi confirmed that the state is exerting its utmost efforts in implementing land reclamation projects, highlighting that £65 billion are needed to finance only 4 agricultural projects between 3.5 and 4 million fadans. This came in the President's comments after the speech of Minister of Electricity Dr. Mohammed Shaker at the head of the state said, for example, Toshka Mega project requires £10 billion for electricity supply and distribution. The President added that the state is studying more projects to reclaim 1 other million fadans, announcing the establishment of 30 power stations to lift and distribute electricity in the new delta. President Sisi asserted that's why countries that have hundreds of acres need infrastructure worth billions of dollars in order to cultivate them. The President went on to emphasize the importance of stability to attract international companies to invest in Egypt, calling on all citizens to realize every step taken by the state and cooperate together for a better future. The head of the state asserted that the Ministry of Electricity does not obtain the value of electricity production in Egypt even before the crisis, adding that 17 million subscribers are obtaining energy paying only a quarter of its actual price. The President said he was keen to talk about the obstacles in front of achievements, or at least would slow the rate of achievements, calling on all Egyptians to unite together to face the evil powers which aimed at destroying the country, to be patient and to work hard to overcome all crises.